Honestly, it's been really great is that especially like over the holidays, and we've been doing a lot of like Twitter engagement, stuff like that. We've had a bunch of crypto people emailing us and being like, hey, like, I love the fact that I can like buy whiskey with like my meme coins. Like, thank you. I'm sending this to my friends. Like, I'm proving to them
That's so
that blockchain
cute.
is a thing. And I'm just like, this is awesome.
Good morning, Carrie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thanks. Happy to have you here. We met at Salon of Boston a few months ago, and I'm just thrilled to chat. Baxus is a really, really cool company. Got you at a good time too, mid-holiday season.
Yeah, peak of excitement for people drinking and sharing
Totally,
with
yeah.
friends. Yes.
Exactly. And everybody, welcome to episode 9 of our season 2 of Behind the Builder. We've got Carrie here. She's the CTO and co-founder of Baxus. Carrie, I'd love to hear your slogan. What does Baxus do?
We sling whiskey. We do a lot more than
Yes.
that. A friend was like,
The
"Explain
main.
your company in 3 words," and he was like, "It's this," and I was like, "Yeah, it is."
It's good. I think any marketing or any explanation of something that can be done in like less than 5 words, if
Oh,
you've
yeah.
perfected that, that's key.
It's the hardest thing because anytime anybody asks me about what we do, I'm like, "Oh my God, let me tell you. I'm so excited.
So
It's this and
much.
this and this and this." And I'm like, "I'm building
Yeah.
this." And, oh my God, yeah. So it's like, okay, 3 words.
So exciting. So exciting. How's the holiday season going?
It's
it
going
crazy?
really well. Yeah, it is. It is crazy. I've never been in like a, I started Baxis in college, so I've never had a real job, but never really been in like consumer during Black Friday to Cyber Monday. And I'm
Wow.
also Canadian, so I didn't understand how crazy Americans go. And it
Yeah.
was just like it was a marathon in and of itself. It was just like on the laptop, like customer emails, like getting everything packed up, and
Amazing.
like it was crazy. It was so much fun though.
That's awesome. Did you guys run Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals?
Yeah, we did. We did like a turkey
Great.
hunt. Yeah, our head of product, he's like brilliant. And he was like, okay, we have to make this like actually fun because, a lot of like auction houses and things like that just do like very like classic things. And we were like, no, we kind of want to have some fun with it. So there's like Wild Turkey is like a brand of whiskey and they're a great producer and they have like awesome stuff. So we did kind of like a turkey hunt throughout the site and then we would like drop like really hard to get bottles. And then people would be like trying to do them kind of like Nike drops and stuff like that. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, it was really fun.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, he's awesome. Yeah.
Was this like your first year doing like special drops during the holidays and that type of promotion?
Yeah, we basically like we did like the blinks, like the Lehman Blinks drop. I think back in when was that? July?
Yes.
And then
that was a big, yeah.
Yeah, that was like a big thing for like the Solana community. And so we really wanted to do something for just whiskey lovers and drinkers for the holidays, like, like hardcore, like original ones. And so we were like, this is a great opportunity to do that too. For that. Yeah. So we've been doing like more campaigns. Like we did a Russell Reserve 13-year drop. And the thing about like, the ethos of the company is that we're trying to bring transparency. We're trying to bring light to this very dark market. And so when it comes to like pricing bottles, we just want to do it at MSRP. We're like, we don't make money from like markups,
Yeah.
And so we dropped this like really hard to get bottle at like a really like, MSRP price. And it sold out in like, I think 2 minutes, like 2-3 minutes. Yeah. And it was, at the site, the load on the site, I was like looking at the logs on the back and I'm like, oh my God, like this is like, okay. So this is how it's going to go from here on out. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. So we've had like a lot of success in sort of these like targeted campaigns. So it's been great. It's going like we're doing another big drop before the end of the year, and then we have some more like product releases coming out. So it's been a bit crazy, but overall successful. So yeah,
that's really cool. And I mean, it is kind of everybody's dream to have a drop and then have it sell out in 2 minutes. You hear about that type of stuff, and a lot of that falls on you because you have to make sure that stuff's not crashing.
Oh, I know. It's so oh my gosh, my heart rate was at like 140 for like like for literally
Unhealthy amounts of
an
time.
hour. Oh yeah. I was like, ooh, nothing could have prepared me for this. But it was hilarious though, because like obviously, like, you know, we're a startup. I'm like, I'm not gonna like, you know, put the GCP budget through the roof. Like we'll keep
Yeah.
it casual. And then and then I totally like underestimated it. So the front end pods like kind of crashed for like 5 seconds.
5 seconds. That's okay.
Yeah, we had like a few emails in that time. Like the site crashed. I'm like, no, only 5 seconds. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like,
people are quick.
Learning. Yeah, like I'm learning. So
That's
yeah, but then it was like, but then everybody got the, you know, everybody who thought that they bought the bottle, who we charged, got the bottle. It was really great. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
It all turns out okay.
It all worked out in the end. Yeah.
And you learn, and these things, I mean, truly, it's so cool to be having these sellouts so well early on. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe we can go back, like Baxus has been around for 3 years, right? Or
Yes.
4, 3.
It's crazy when you think about it.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And you started it in college. I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So, yeah, it's actually a hilarious story. So my co-founder, Svi, I was the head TA for this like databases course at Columbia. This was during, I think this was like my senior year of undergrad. And then I did my master's, and he took the course, like my senior year, and I was his TA. So he would come to like my recitation sections, and then he was like, hey, like you're good at explaining things. Like, you know, I kind of have this idea for this like marketplace, like this like whiskey marketplace, and I'm thinking about it. And like, I needed to take the databases course to like sort of understand how this works. And then I was like, okay, that sounds freaking awesome. And then, and then we started, I think, like maybe like 6 months later or something like that. And it was just such a cool opportunity. And there was so much room, like there were so many things to improve and optimize in this space. And I was taking a distributed computing course in the fall. And I was like, wow, like blockchain, the marketing around blockchain is not great, but the actual technology is like freaking, you know, life altering.
Amazing.
So, you know, this space and this kind of company, even though it's like slinging whiskey, but, you know, much more technically optimized, it just seemed kind of awesome. So yeah.
What a dream. Like that's kind of like the ideal startup story out of college. That's really cool.
Funny? Yeah, it was crazy. And it was during COVID too, you know? So actually it's hilarious. My co-founder and I joke because the first like visual I remember of him is just like whiskey bottles behind him with this like massive COVID beard during this like lecture, like 8 a.m. in the morning on like a Friday.
Well, because it was online.
Who is this?
Oh my God. Who's this kid in college with a whiskey collection behind us?
He did like, he was in the IDF and then he came back. So he's like older than me, but it was just
yes.
Who is this? Like, what? Like, who is this?
That's hilarious. I love it.
Here we are.
And I feel like you get this question a lot, but you like whiskey.
I do. Yeah, I do.
Cool. Did you like it before you met? What's your coworker's name? It's co-founder's name? Svi?
Svi, yeah. We just call him T though, too.
T.
Yeah.
The letter T.
Just T. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, when we first started, like my family loves wine, big drinkers all around. Cool. Whiskey wasn't like the preference. You know, I was sort of like, I'm not that hardcore yet. Can't really do it. And then we would go down to Kentucky for these like investor meetings and these trips. And T would be like they would pour me like as much as him, right? Because it's like, oh, you're not going to pour Carrie less. And then I could not finish it. I could not drink it. It was just, I was like, this is insane. And then he would be drinking twice what I was drinking like early days. And I would have to, it was really hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but honestly, like now being in the space for so long, I think I have a pretty good like nose. I think I kind of know like what I really enjoy now. And I genuinely, like sometimes like we'll be on a call or we'll do like a happy hour and like I pour myself like a whiskey with like, and I'm like, I am so legit.
I am so cool right now.
I am so cool. Like I'm so hardcore. You know, it only took like 3 years to like study it, but yeah.
That's awesome. And I mean that's cool too. Like you develop your own things that you like and cute little glasses.
Totally. And honestly, like it's really exciting to, you know, like, cause we've done a lot of Kentucky trips, like we've gone to France and things like that. And just really like be there, meet the producers, meet the distillers. Cause they it's such an art to them, you know, and they pour so much of their like passion and stuff into it. And they can like taste these like little fine differences. And I'm like, that's awesome, man. Like, that's great. You know, and then you just find what you like. So
So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's a
I
fun
love
space to
it.
be in. It's always fun to have an alcohol company. Everybody loves you. So,
Right.
yeah.
Especially when everything in crypto and Web3 is like roll ups and ZK, and it's like
Yeah.
alcohol. I know what you
Oh,
sling
yeah.
whiskey? Great.
Yeah. It's
Let's
like,
chat.
like, can you sponsor this party? It's like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun
Do
to
people
be.
ask you that a lot?
Oh, mhm.
All
Yeah,
every day.
all the time. All the time. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, can you guys like throw in some bottles? And we're like, sure.
Please,
Yeah, but yeah,
please.
it's fun to be like an app, like not an infra, and then it's fun to be an app for like real things. And honestly, it's been really great is that especially like over the holidays, and we've been doing a lot of like Twitter engagement and stuff like that. We've had a bunch of crypto people emailing us and being like, hey, like I love the fact that I can like buy whiskey with like my meme coins. Like, thank
Yeah.
you. I'm sending this to my friends. Like, I'm proving to
That's
them
so
that blockchain
cute.
is a thing. And I'm just like, this is awesome. Like,
This is what we wanted.
this is what we wanted. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
great.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
No, you guys are like a clear standout, and especially just everybody in the Solana ecosystem loves you. You guys have a lot of like good press from that. Um, it's awesome. So I usually ask this question at the beginning to break the ice. We already met in person though, so that's
Yeah.
kind of a unique situation, which is nice. But what are your hobbies besides Baxus?
Yeah, besides working 24/7 and that working, so that's fine. Well, actually, I did sign myself up for a marathon in May, so that's happening. I
So
know,
cool.
I know.
Where?
It's in Toronto. I'm from Toronto originally, so it's like the May 4th Toronto one. I
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. I was a rower in college, so it's like
Cool.
I kind of miss the being in pain all the time from working out. It will like calm my brain a little bit. So that's my
Yeah.
current only hobby I can support. I play piano too, but not that well. So
That's nice.
that's the other one. Yes.
I mean, everybody's got their outlets. I actually was considering picking up piano because I read something somewhere recently that said you should always do something that you're bad at. And I was like, okay, well, if I've never played the piano, then I'll be bad at it
Yeah.
and
Like I'm a terrible
could
runner.
try it.
So slow. Like old men will pass me on the West Side Highway, and I'm like, oh, like shot to the ego.
That's funny. But that's great. A bunch
Yeah.
of my friends right now are running marathons, and it's a great goal
Yeah.
to keep it light and also focus on something other than work, which you're
Totally.
doing
And also
24/7 anyway.
oh yeah, right. And then
Yeah.
it's just like sub processing, It's just
Yep.
like your just subconscious is just going and you're like, okay, like this is only good for me.
Yeah. Yes. And you're going home. That's going to be fun.
Yeah,
Super
yeah. I'm
cute.
excited. Yeah. Get my
Good.
whole fam out for the day. I'm like, don't book
Yeah.
anything. Like book off the weekend. I'm gonna
Cut
be in
it
a lot
out.
of yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so and a little bit about Baxus.
Mhm.
So you've been around for 3 years. We said that. What were the early days like? Do you remember them well? I'm
Oh my
sure
God.
it's a blur,
Like
but
flash. Yeah.
has the product stayed the same over time?
Oh God, no. Oh no, no, no.
Yeah.
No. I feel like we've gone through like a few. So like my co-friend and I joke quite a few times. Like I feel like we're on our like second or our third startup at this point.
Yeah.
Like we've gone through like iterations. Like the core fundamental of
Sling
like
whiskey.
yeah, sling whiskey.
Yes.
That's like the core fundamental. No, like like there's such a lack of transparency. It's such a dark like gray market where these like peer-to-peer transactions are happening. Auction houses, if you want to go like sell your vintage and fine and rare bottles on auction, they charge you like 35%. There's no real ability to like see pricing. A lot of stuff happens in like Facebook groups. It's sort of like before StockX, like sneaker trading was like going on and like all these kind of like Telegram group chats, things like that.
Yeah.
And so there's just been such a fundamental like need for somebody to come in and optimize this and fix this, right? And make this better. So that's been sort of like the grounding philosophy for like, how long we've doing this. Cause we're like, okay, like if like somebody's going to fix this, it might as well be us.
Absolutely.
And we're just trying to figure out how to do that. So yeah, like the marketplace has been like the sort of the bare bones, like that's been like the core product for, over the past 3 years. But we've definitely like recognized how many other ways that we can provide like an optimized experiences for people, and also just like fix problems. So for example, like we have the marketplace, you can send your bottles to our vault, we'll store them, we'll insure them, and then we'll, tokenize the NFT that goes onto the marketplace. But if you don't want to, think about the fact that it's an NFT, you don't have to worry about that at all. And then you can sell your bottles for whatever price you want. We're coming out with some new features where people can place bids and things like that in the future too. Yeah. So
Cool.
So it's going to become, like much more like engaging, and more like negotiation throughout the site. And then we acquired this amazing company called BoozApp about a year and a half ago, and their 3 co-founders actually now work with us as well.
So cool.
Yeah. And so they basically are a platform. It's funny. It's kind of like Strava, but for your like whiskey collection is sort of the idea. So
great example.
Yeah. We're trying to make it into that basically. It's sort of like a community, like ecosystem platform. But you can vote on like fair prices for bottles. So if you see one in the store and you're like, I don't know how much this is worth, like, is this liquor store ripping me off? You could download the app, scan the bottle, and then see like what that community, thinks is a fair price. Then you can vote on whether you think that's a fair price or not. You can add things to your wish list. You can add things to your bar. And so through that app, which we're literally doing the back end merge to make it all one and make it all together. But that means that we're able to, find people who download the app and are like, hey, like, I've been looking for this one specific bottle. If it's on the marketplace, we can be like, hey man, like we saw that on your wish list. Like, do you want to buy it? Cause like we have it, we know it's hard to find, but like, that's what we specialize in. So we can really take like the actions of these users and like actually turn them into like, hey, like, here's your bottle. Like, do you want it? Hey, like this person's looking to buy this bottle. I see you have like 3 on your bar and they're all sealed. Do you want to sell one? Because this is the price that he wants. So it's like a nice little like symbiotic relationship, and a lot of other people in this space, like trying to, break into wine and spirits, are attacking like one part of the problem. They're either attacking like top of the funnel, just like, getting people to like track their bars and their collections, right? Or they're like, okay, like, we're a marketplace, but nobody's audacious enough, dare I say, to, or, doesn't
say it.
Yeah, to attempt to do it all together, right? And just like build all sides. And so, and so I would say that's been the biggest evolution over the past 3 years, is that like, we were like, okay, we got to start with the marketplace. And then we were like, oh, well, if we need to do this, we need to do this. And if that has to happen, we have to do this too. And so we're just trying to really like bring it all together. So it's a little bit different, I would say, than, some classic startup advice where it's like, find one thing and fix it. We're like, okay, we found one thing, and then to fix that, there's like 2 other things we need to fix. And then to fix those, so it's a little bit more like an octopus than anything else.
Which is great. And there's definitely some other companies that have done that type of thing, and I think they succeed because then they keep their customers kind of in the same place, and you don't have to advise them to go somewhere else where then that place is out of your control, and how those people treat your customer. Like if you keep it's definitely an octopus, but if you're the only one doing it, then it's pretty, right? It's pretty amazing.
I mean, it seems to be working. So I'm like,
it does seem to be working. It does seem to be working, Carrie.
So we're like,
really well. It covers a lot of things, and especially what you just covered with having bottles and then being able to tell somebody else that, oh, this person has that. Like, that's really cool. That doesn't exist. And especially for something like alcohol is almost like a private thing. Like, you keep it in your basement and it's in like a box, or it's in like a what's it called? Like a
like your bar, like your cabinet, like
like one of those special little cabinets. And this way it's out in the open.
Yeah.
And then it's just go ahead. Yeah.
No. It's just like we have, and also like what's kind of fun too is that like we have one user, for example, and he doesn't actually drink, and he's like, he's like, I'm using your marketplace because like, I'm buying gifts for my friends, and then also I'm seeing some of these bottles as like an investment. And like he's made like some serious money off of like the marketplace from just like buying and selling bottles. And so I
What?
emailed him and I was like, hey, like, like download, before knowing that he didn't drink, I was like, hey, download the app too. Like, if there's stuff on your wish list, like we'll send it to you. And he's like, you know what? He's like, honestly, he's like, I don't drink that much. I don't really have a bar. Like, I'm just good with the marketplace. And I was like, this is so cool. I was like, this is great.
Cool.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like we're really able to capture sort of any experience that somebody needs to have in this space. Like we're able to deliver something for them, or at least just like be like, hey, like we can help you out a little bit. We can solve like one problem for you maybe. And
the product really works.
Yeah.
On even 2 steps, not including the third. Like that's awesome.
Totally. Yeah. So so it's just figuring out like, basically I think because we have so many different options for how we can, like, it's like, oh, we can build this feature, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. It's really like our the thing that we've been really working on as a team has been like, okay, how are we organizing and prioritizing this? Like, what is our best thesis for like how we like get to the next level as quick as possible, right? Yeah. So that's been, I think a lot of startups are like, oh, like, we don't even know what to do because like there's not that many problems like to fix. And we're like, oh my God, we have so many options. We don't even know.
How do I pick?
Yeah, it's like, well, how do I pick? Like, how do we like, or optimize all this? So
good problem to have, for sure.
Good problem to have. I'm like,
great problem.
I was like, this is great.
Yeah. And as far as customers go, if you could break it up percentage base, how many people are brand new to crypto? How many people are just excited to use crypto in a new way in marketplace?
Oh, it's a great question. Well, okay. So for example, we have, I really should have looked at the numbers before this. We have like 40,000, 45,000 monthly active users on BoozApp.
Awesome.
I would say maybe 80% of them are totally brand new to crypto. Yeah. They're just like, they're whiskey people. They're happy.
Carrie.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I know. And so maybe they'll have like a Coinbase account or something, like we've noticed that before. If they're more into like trading bottles, usually they've like traded crypto, that sort of like trader mentality. But no, they just love bourbon mostly,
That's awesome.
And then I would say on the marketplace, like, because we're in the Solana ecosystem, like there's a lot of like people on Twitter who are like, oh yeah, I can like buy this with, like Guano or like that token or something. The marketplace is definitely like more optimized right now for crypto users, like people who like have blockchain. But slowly I think it's going to kind of like mix and mingle, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and that takes time. And then I guess I'm curious too about your marketing, which I don't know how involved you are with this. But how involved are you with marketing?
Oh, well, I'll be there in the conversations, and I'm like, when it comes to marketing, it's like we basically take like the two-pronged approach of, it's like, okay, it's like Twitter, Solana, my co-founder's freaking amazing at that. Yeah. And like all the replies and like that engagement. And then and then like our product guy, Scott, he's just like full like, whiskey marketing. And we're kind of sort of keeping like two separate lanes right now because it's really hard to market to both communities at once. Because
you can't.
You literally can't.
Yeah.
But I'm also just in the weeds all the time from a tech perspective. So
totally. Yeah. No, I'm curious because I think you do have a product that is, and you don't really hear this, that is successfully bringing on a lot of brand new people to crypto. So obviously you do have these two audiences that you're catering to. And it's very interesting because nobody else is really doing this. It's all everybody talks about, new people. Is there other teams or companies that you guys look towards? Maybe if we're in each lane, like you kind of have to look at other things, but where would Scott be looking for inspiration in his marketing, and where is T looking on crypto Twitter? Because it's hard. Like, where are you looking for inspiration?
I would say, like, I think a company that's just done something really amazing. That's like, actually, we use Helium too, but they're fantastic because like their product is for everybody, right?
Yes.
Like their whole like decentralized like cellular network, like you can just pay $20 a month and then it's like you have a phone plan. It's like, oh my God, like who would not want to do that, right? And so that's what they're pushing. Like they're pushing the solution onto the customer, right? They're not pushing like the blockchain infra that brought it there, which is mind blowing and amazing in and of itself. So I would say like there's definitely somebody that I look to that I'm like, they're doing it right. Like, if we can, if we can get there, if we can sort of like do it like that, that would be really great. But I would say like, for us, I think one of the things that we really try to do is like, for example, when you're buying a bottle on the marketplace, like we don't charge fees for crypto, right? But it's like a 3%, 3.5% credit card processing fee. So like if you go to our checkout page, you'll see like, you want to buy it for this. And then like, like $0, like connect your Phantom wallet, or like 3%, like, we'll subtract the fees if you like pay with crypto. So that's sort of like a subtle, like, hey, like learn about this, like, hey, like this is the future, like, hop on early kind of thing.
Right. Check it out. It's hard because I feel like for people, it seems almost too good to be true. It's hard for people outside of it to understand that, okay, I just want to use my credit card. This feels safe and comfortable.
Yeah.
And
well, it's hilarious. I was watching this like video the other day of the first time that the credit card was like announced and like came out, and people being interviewed like on the streets of New York or whatever, and they're like, I don't trust that. Like cash all the way. Like what is this? Like why would I ever trust this? And I'm like, this is hilarious.
I saw that. It's a great video.
Because it's like, oh my God, like who carries cash now? Like
like my dad, and that's it. Like nobody.
Right? That's it. So it's just sort of one of those things where I'm like, hey, like we're getting here. Like this is gonna happen. Like if you learn about it through buying whiskey, that's awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you just have, we've got a new partnership here for you guys. I think it was literally announced yesterday, right?
Yes.
Tell, leak the news.
Okay, so basically, we've teamed up with Iridia, and we're basically using their authentication to sort of be able to like tag bottles and bring like make sure that all the bottles on the marketplace are like real and authentic. And then if they go out into the world and they come back to us, we know that like we authenticated this early on. And we're working with producers and distillers like right at the source to include the technology within the bottles, so that if those do happen to be like resold in different marketplaces or like open and drank later on, folks can know that they were authenticated like right at the producer, right at the beginning. And the tech that Iridia has built is like completely amazing. And like it's inhackable. If you ever talk to anybody on their team, like the way they describe it, I'm like, this is like rocket science. Like,
that's cool.
Like this is like, I'm just a CTO. I'm like, this is crazy. So it's just exciting because like there's definitely like nobody has solved the authentication problem, right? Just for like collectible goods, like secondary auctions, like the real stuff like that. Like nobody has actually like solved the authenticating goods from like a technological perspective. Like everybody's just using like, this person has, looked at Birkin bags for the past 50 years. They definitely know.
They know.
Like,
that's
right?
So like, true.
And that's it. Like that's where we're at as like as like an enterprise. So we're just really trying to work with producers so that they can know that nobody's ripping off their product down the line, and then also just be able to kind of do what we do at Baxus, which is like bring in new technology to like solve problems more efficiently for authenticating bottles that haven't just been produced but were made like 60 years ago. So so and it was awesome that it's like Solana Labs and like Iridia was doing this. Like it's sort of like a nice little like homecoming like team. So and we're like the first to do this too, which is so cool. which is sometimes like crazy to me. I'm like, guys, like this is like, this needs to happen, so it's really exciting. We're doing the drop of the bottles actually next week, I think like on Tuesday.
So cool.
That's another campaign. Yes.
Another campaign.
I have a calendar, don't worry.
Love it.
Yeah. But
that's awesome.
But and it's a 20-year-old bourbon, and it's Annie Oakley. So it's like a female producer. Yeah, it's pretty great. So
wow.
So it was really nice. It was really nice to like find that partner to do it with, and to be like the first initial launch.
Partnerships are cool. it just makes you feel like
Yeah.
you're bringing things, making things happen.
Totally. Yeah. And it's always fun to like partner with tech companies that are also just trying to like who have built something really, really cool. And then
Yeah.
we're like a use case, like that's
Super
like
cool.
like at the end of the day, that's like one of like the main things that we've found with like other like info companies on Solana. They're like, I have been looking to like use this technology somewhere and
Right.
you guys are a great use case. We're like, yeah, like we're the app
Yes.
layer. Like you guys are the infra, like we're the app, like
Bring it
you're gonna
home.
learn more about fixing more of the infra from people using it. So
Totally.
yeah, so it's fun to be that like kind of bridge for companies like that.
Yeah. All the info that everybody's talking about, and it's like, where are the apps? Where are the apps? Like, you guys are the app.
We're the app because we were here 3 years ago.
Yes.
Trying to figure it out when there was no infra, and now there's infra, and I'm like, oh yay, thank you. I didn't want to
So
build my own
good.
wallet connect.
Yeah, right. It's
I
just
don't
like
want to build an RPC.
great.
Like I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Please. Thank you, somebody.
100%.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
And what are you most excited about in crypto right now?
Ooh. Well, honestly, like I would say like I like on I think it was genuinely what we were just talking about before. Like
Yeah.
I think we're really seeing a lot more adoption in people like external people starting to understand more about the like the actual technology behind it and how like a wallet is sort of like a new way to unlock all of these different like not only like financial opportunities but just like way to like explore the internet, like you don't like you own your own data, like you don't have to like give out all this like personal information, and then you have this sort of like one identity that can then take you from app to site, and you're still like anonymous and you're just so it's exciting because I think like especially on Solana specifically, I would say like the infrastructure that's been delivered over the past few years has just been like really fantastic, and it's now like all those companies are now like series A, series like like they've really gotten like the funding that they need in order to like deliver that and make that a cleaner experience. And so now it's time for like people to just sort of it's like hey, like there's these massive corporations that have been sort of vying off of how the internet has like JavaScript and all of that for so long, and now it's like we can kind of take some of that back, and like you can have more ownership over like financial stuff, but just also your data and just everything that exists online. So yes, that's what I get most excited about. It's nice that Solana's been pumping. That's great. Like I'll never
Solana's
complain.
doing great.
Yeah, I was like,
Totally.
if people want to, equate that to the fact that the technology was great all along, like sure,
Sure. Okay. Say whatever you want.
People in, like that's
Yeah.
fine.
Right.
Yeah.
At this point, it's like wherever we can get people, but like everybody will come around eventually. They'll see the truth.
100%.
The truth is always there. It's the truth is in the technology. So
yeah, totally.
And that's what all this is about, isn't it?
At the end of the day, that's what it all is about.
Yeah. So, and what's your day-to-day look like as a CTO? What are you doing?
What am I doing? Great question. My day-to-day. It sort of like really depends. Like I think like wake up, usually I'll like, do like some form of workout, hopefully try to, get that in. And then I just try to get some heads down time in the early days, and I just code because that's like actually my favorite part of the day.
That's
coding.
cool.
Yeah. And then, and then, and then like meet with my engineers, like sort of early morning, like try to keep more meetings in the morning. But we are like a remote team. So sometimes it's like either like early afternoon or like, like later in the evening. And then, and just sort of like, like scope docs, like coding features, like thinking about how we're going to do like massive data migrations, like just, it's a lot all over the place right now. I think like one of the things that makes me the most happy is when like I meet other people who are also in the same space, and then they're building something cool, and then we get to talk about it, and like we can get a little bit more technical than just like surface level like what they're saying. That's always like my favorite part of like CTO things, because then you like meet another CTO or you meet like somebody who's actually building it, and then you get to like have like the super intense conversation with them, like being in like usually like the Solana space. That's usually the best, but that's sometimes harder to, we got to actually build it too. So that sort of happens fairly. But
yeah, that is cool though. I appreciate a good Nerd out is not the right, but
It
like
is nerd out. It's a
it's a
total nerd
nerd
out.
out, but like
It's a total
when
nerd out.
there's a really positive thing about a nerd out because that's where beautiful ideas come
Yes.
from, and
Totally.
it's a great thing. It's a
Oh,
beautiful thing.
yeah,
And
like,
yeah,
it's the best. Oh, yeah,
yeah,
and especially, like, even just, like, some of the guys at, like, Solana Labs, like, we'll have, like, one conversation, then I'm like, "Oh, that's what we should do." You know what I mean? I'm like,
so
"Oh,
cool.
that's the solution." Yeah, so those are usually, like, my favorite parts of the day when it's, like or it's, like, nerding out, like, with, like, some of my engineers on my team, and
Hey, your
then we're
team.
like yeah, and then we'll, like, fix something, and I'm like, "Yes." Like, I've
Let's
been
go.
wanting to fix this for so long. Like, thank you.
Yes.
Like,
Scratch an itch.
yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
And Baxus has got 2025 right around the corner. What are we most excited for? What does the year look like? What are the goals?
Ooh, great question. Oh, there's like so many things. I think like coming off of how successful the holiday season has been for us, like we really just want to buckle down on creating like more experiences for people like across the application, right? So really like bringing the app and the marketplace together, and like if you add something to your wish list and it's available on the marketplace, like here you go, like adding more negotiation, being able to find go to your liquor store and like put in prices of like where you found these specific bottles, to like help the community like source like better stuff and get better prices for them, and then so that would be more like marketplace app side. We also want to do some more things that would kind of be like like vending machines and things for like for the crypto communities too
Ooh,
would be kind of fun, like something a little bit more
that's
like crypto
cool.
native for those folks. I think that could be really fun. And then we also it's called Athena. It's basically, this is where we use the Helium network, and we've been
Yeah.
working with distilleries and producers, and we've been putting in different IoT sensors to determine the environmental factors that affect like the maturation of their casks. So starting really like at the source of when the mash goes into the barrel and it's like maturing, just sitting there for 6 years. Right now there's not a company that's really able to deliver like solid metrics of like, okay, what's actually been happening to this whiskey over this point in time, like
Wow.
what was the temperature, what was the humidity, like
Yeah.
all that stuff. And so we're working with a couple distilleries now. We put that tech in, and it's using helium, which is so awesome.
That's really
Uh,
cool.
really just ties it home. It just makes my
Yeah, it
heart
does.
happy. Yeah, it really does. And so basically just being able to like connect that data to then like down the line, if you're like selling bottles, and then you're able to see like where your whiskey sat, how it was aging
Yeah.
over the period of time like prior to that.
Mhm.
And then being able to do like loans and sales of actual like casks on the marketplace, because now we're actually able to like track how they're maturing and sort of have like a vault in the rick house, if you think of it that way. Like instead of
Okay.
like having the bottles in the vault, the rick house just kind of becomes like um, basically like in essence a vault, because the barrels are just sitting there for 6 years.
Right.
So yes, there's a lot of stuff to do. But
So cool.
yeah, so we're just kind of like just trying to like create like more like better experiences that are all a little bit more interconnected, I would say. We've
Yeah.
been sort of like piloting things. We've been like improving just the app. We've just been improving just the marketplace, and now it's going to be like, okay, let's bring this all together.
It'll all fold into each other. And
Exactly.
you said Rick House, is that like where they keep the barrels?
Yes, it's literally
Cool.
like a wooden building that's huge, and then
Cool.
just has like just they're called ricks, and it's just like shelves where like these like really massive barrels sit with whiskey
Yeah.
and just
I can imagine.
yeah.
Wait. I feel like I put that. Oh my God, I totally forgot about this. I totally put this in my virtual background. Hold on. Did I freeze?
Yes, that's it. That's it. That's a rick house. Oh, bravo, bravo.
That's hilarious. I was
That
like,
is it. That is it. Now with like IoT sensors, and then
that
that's Athena. Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. I need to get you this background. This can be
Yes.
your new virtual background.
Okay.
But that it is so cool to be revolutionizing something that is literally one of the oldest. Like
It's
that's
really
amazing.
Yeah,
It's
it's really
really
fun.
cool.
Well, and it's really cool too. Like actually being able, because you know, like I've been going to Kentucky quite a bit now, like to producers and things, and like they get so excited about it. They're like, oh, like we didn't even know this was possible. Like, oh, like you could do this too, and it's like they're like giddy, you know,
Total chills.
and then I get so excited because
and
like
you're giddy, and then everybody's like,
then like from like a technological perspective, I'm like, this is awesome. Like I love doing this. Like, you know, networks are so cool. I'll selfishly, like I've wanted to be in hardware for so long. Like I love hardware. Like I, you know, and so so it's just been like so much fun. Just going down and doing the installs, and it's so core startup stuff, like us like plugging in the, you know, the helium boxes and putting in all like it's just it's been so core startup. It's been so much fun.
It's really cool.
I need to scale that pretty much.
Oh my God, Carrie, that is so cool. That is just like everybody's having the perfect meeting of the minds.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like the right time too, you know, like invest in it, like the whole thing. So
absolutely. Oh, that is awesome. I am gonna close the main questions part. These are all like the Baxus, Carrie questions I wanted to ask you. I've got 2 questions that I ask all of my guests. But before I start those, do you have any last things you want to say about Baxus? If like a 1-sentence takeaway, a message to the people.
Message to the people. We sling whiskey? No.
Yes. I love that. I will continue to say that.
That's a message to the people.
It's so good.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I feel like what would I want to say? Yeah, I think like we're kind of like, if we start, like we're sort of, I feel like kind of on the precipice of something. I feel like there's like we're pretty close to like, okay, like this is going to be,
I agree,
you know, a lot bigger than it currently is. So yeah, so it's kind of fun. Like right now, for example, if you like email us a question or you're like looking for something, it's going to be like me or our COO or our CEO responding. You know, like we're there right now, and it's fun. So
that's the best, and that's the really cool thing about talking with startups and paying attention to younger companies is you'll get those people. Like you get the CEO responding to you. You get the co-founder. Like that's awesome. And they understand it better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And they're there, like, and you're literally the first mover in this space. Like there's no one better to go to if you're curious about whiskey on chain, marketplaces on chain.
Totally. And it's just
onboarding new people to crypto. You are a specialist in this. You are a specialist in this.
Yeah. I know. It's so funny. I was like on like a podcast like a year ago, and somebody like called me like a veteran of this, and I'm like, I'm 25. I'm not a veteran of like just a little bit, you know. Like I was like, I guess a little bit. So yeah.
Cool t-shirt. When merch, you can put like whiskey veteran something.
Yeah, like
consumer crypto veteran.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think that's the perfect message.
Thank you.
Hard question. What's your favorite book?
Okay. Because I was thinking about this before.
Good.
I think I solidly have to stick with Lord of the Rings. And I know
great answer.
Yeah. I think it's just like, you know, I'm like, if I'm on a desert island and, you know, and life's going to be over, like that book is just like, that's like core home for me. So yeah.
Great answer. Yeah. And I love when founders say fiction books, because there's really good storytelling that nonfiction just doesn't get you sometimes.
It really does.
Lord of the Rings it's a brand. It is. They're a great brand. They have done a great job, but like it's cool.
Well, yeah. And I think like also, I remember before like I was actually in the startup, like when I was in like college and stuff like that, I would totally read all the nonfiction, like founder stories, biographies, all that stuff, because I wasn't in it. And now that I'm in it, reading about it, I'm like, no, dude, I'm like, I'm doing it. Like they're like,
I'm doing it. I'm like, live.
Yeah, you know, like I'm live on air doing it. Like I can't read about what you're doing because I'm just trying to do it. So so fiction is nice.
That's all. Yeah, and it really good for storytelling. And last question: how do you become a good decision maker?
Oh my God. You make a lot of decisions.
Yeah. A lot.
I think it's just, I think like, I would say, you just have to like, from the beginning, I think I've just like approached this entire experience with like, hey, I'm going to learn so much. Like I could not possibly be in a space where I could learn more than what I'm doing right now. Like business, technology, like this industry, like other industries, like, like everything. I'm like, this is sort of the space that I would learn the most. So when it comes to making decisions, I'm like, I'm going to make 1,000,007 wrong ones constantly. And if it's like, if you just kind of don't stop, then eventually you make a few ones that seem to be okay and working. And then, and then you just like get better at it. So so I would say just put yourself somewhere where you're like, okay, I'm going to learn more here than anywhere else. And then,
That's the best way to go about it. I totally agree. And I'm learning. And, I'll say my favorite thing about my grandma is that she always wants to learn.
Yeah, right?
And she's 85, so it's
Totally.
really cool.
It's just
really
the
cool.
best. Oh, it's just so exciting when people are like curious about things,
Yeah.
And then it's just like, yeah, because there's like, it's that class. Oh, I forget the term, but it's like the classic, like beginners, like mindset of like, okay, like you start learning something, you think you know everything, and then you realize how much you don't know everything. And I'm like, if I can just keep on being in the space of realizing how much I don't know everything, then like you just get so excited and curious about everything there is to learn, because there's so many different fields and things. So yeah,
it's so good. Thank you, Carrie. And I also want to say, this is not a technical podcast, although I would have liked to have you talk more technical because I'm sure you would have really enjoyed it. But and any other podcast, I hope and I think that there are more technical podcasts in the space than non. So I hope you get to geek out in those places, and then here this will be the more other side of your opinions and thoughts.
I'm so happy to talk about it. Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's honestly, this is awesome. I love Baxus. I'm not a whiskey drinker, but I appreciate I would like you to. That would be fun. And I'm really excited to watch you guys grow. It's just really cool to see what you're doing and how many new people you're bringing into crypto, which I know that everybody can say that in the crypto space. It seems to be the only thing everybody talks about. So
yeah. Well, it's how we, what is it, like onboarding the next billion users?
Yeah, right. It's like, all right, Carrie's here doing it.
I was like, hello,
Carrie.
one at a time, one email at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, hey, thank you so much for having me.
Enjoy your holiday season. I'll be checking out those new campaigns. You got some new drops, lots of fun things.
We do. I will increase our Kubernetes cluster load so that.
I have no idea what that means, but it's so good. It's so good. Go out, buy some whiskey for your loved ones. It's the 100%. Best time to do it. All right, Carrie.
Thanks, Lindsay.
I will talk to you later. Thank you for everything. Have a good one. Bye.